pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Close enough to 10 o'clock, I'll open the meeting. We have two additions, mental health compensation consideration, interim director of management. And the other topic is remodel electrical.
Quote of work.
Quote of work. Okay. Any public comment at this time? Lessa?
Yes, I'm Lisa Webbin, and I would like to ask if you've noticed the new speed limit on 395. South of town, it picks up at 65 just past Cattermas. When you're going north on 395, the speed limit at 65 is just on the other side of the Shell station. My opinion, the church is there, the RV park, the Forest Service, the greenhouse, and all the residences, that's a dangerous speed to be going through there. I talked with the town, and the mayor told me that in fact there's been quite a number of accidents in that area, and they had worked with ODOT before to lower the speed limit in that area to 50. So I would like the county to, if they can work with the town to, I know it's an ODOT issue, but maybe if you petition it, and if you'll tell me as the public what we can do, I will work with the public to get, if you need letters or whatever kind of support you need, but I do think that that is not a good thing to have in that area.
I'm probably the best one to answer that, Lisa. At least in my time, we've done, I believe, 2 studies, asked ODOT to do studies there. Through their studies, they're only able to drop the speed limit at a certain range. We've been disappointed with that. Working with the town's great. Ray Sims, he's on the executive board of the ACT, they're a committee of transportation, the same as me. He has a vote, he has direct contact with the ODOT people. We can ask for another study. We acknowledge that. We believe that there's the accident rate there has been high, and there's a lot of access that's come in there. And I don't know that a study would change anything, but we could ask for another study in conjunction with the town. If you're visiting with Ray Sims, the town manager, like I say, he sits on the executive board, he's got a straight line to get to ODOT.
Because I don't think it would take another study. The study's already shown the higher accident rate there. And, you know, the Perlite trucks come in there and are slowing down, and the, you know, Collins and all that. And the residence is there. If I lived there on the highway, I wouldn't be happy with it. So, like I said, I was just asking, and I'm more than willing as a citizen to help in any way that you think that I can. So, just let me know.
Well, I think, Les, along with what Commissioner Winter said, and he is the right one to head this up, you know, we've had studies done on county roads, and I only bring that up because ODOT controls county road speeds, you know, which seems kind of bizarre, but I know one of the elements that they always talk about is what is the observed when they go out and do the study is speed that people are going. And I think that's a bizarre way, particularly on the north end there, because I travel that each and every day. To analyze that, I think excess that we're using out there from churches, from businesses, from the Forest Service is a much more appropriate thing to say. Why should we, through that congested area, have such a high rate of speed?
Yeah, because there's large trucks coming in and out of there, in addition to, you know.
Lots of trucks coming into the Shell station itself. I've had several folks comment to me on that, and until we decided to do whatever, I've been recommending them to talk to their state legislatures as just another avenue.
Right, okay. Well, thank you. Like I say, I just wanted to bring it up, and I'll offer my help if there's anything as part of the public that I can do, so I appreciate it.
Call up Doug Richard.
I'll
May I
do that.
make a comment
Why?
in support of what she's saying? Why can't you go to ODOT and try to get a 45-mile speed limit out as far as the Shell station, and then keep it around 50, not over 55, until you get to the hot springs and the first road to the prison? That's where the residentials and the farms community starts, and let's keep the businesses safe.
We have requested that, Ron, and we can request it again. ODOT standards and what they run by we can't dictate to them, but we can request that. We've acknowledged for many years. that-
All I've done is ask you three people to go to ODOT and try to do it. Now, if you don't wanna do it, say so.
Ron, I just said that I will do it. It's
Yes.
not a problem.
We will be talking with ODOT on it. And my emphasis is for others to also talk to ODOT and also talk to the state level. MOTEP column emphasis. But yes, we will
We'll do
be.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Any other public comment? Frank? Good morning. Good morning. It is a very good morning. I found a lucky coin on the courtroom floor.
Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. Well, the time item is 10:10. We've got about 5 minutes to go, so we'll drop down to any preference on other business, Jim?
Let's do the county ordinance. AOC releases.
County ordinance number 113, AOC, Oregon, Association of Oregon Counties Agreement. This has been on a plate for a while. There's, for the audience, we have the Association of Oregon Counties, but it's also been an affiliate organization of surveyors and engineers that aids or assist counties. And they've just been kind of an affiliate, but not really organized, and they're trying to come together, be organized to be a what do you call it, a nonprofit, or just an organized affiliate of
Just an affiliated organization of AOC.
And they requested each county to give consideration to acknowledge and support them to become this organized, as opposed to just a group of folks.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number, county ordinance number 113, in the matter of ratifying the intergovernmental agreement creating the Oregon Association of County Engineers and Surveyors.
Second motion.
Motion made a second. To acknowledge it, we have to pass this ordinance. And is this a second hearing?
It is.
So we need to have 2 hearings, so this is second.
Yes, now we're fine.
So I'll open it for hearing, if anybody have any comment, and I'll leave it open for a while. I'll probably forget to close it, but I'm sure it'll be reminded. We'll leave the hearing open as we go to other items.
We made a motion, though.
Oh.
You wanna-
Yeah.
Motion. Hey, I'm not supposed to be here today. The motion is to,
Well, you have us a little bit confused, I guess, sir. I think that we didn't have to open it as a hearing, it needed to be on our agenda. And
Yeah, technically,
And the
again,
motion was to accept it and at the second meeting, so do we have to technically have a hearing open? If so, then our motion and second
It would go by the wayside.
yeah,
go to the wayside.
technically, it's not a hearing, it's simply you're having a second meeting in which the public is present for your action.
but should we wait for the public?
You can
Before
solicit
we
public
vote on
comment
it?
if you like, and then you can take the action. And the action would simply be that you move forward and adopt the motion as presented, adopt the ordinance as presented.
The motion is on the table. I'm hearing no comments, so I'll go with the vote at this time. No hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We also have to adopt the IDA associated with that.
I don't have my packet because I wasn't anticipating to be here.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the intergovernmental agreement creating the Oregon Association of County Engineers and Surveyors as presented.
Second motion.
Motion been made, seconded to accept the said intergovernmental agreement. Any other discussion? Can you give a little brief for the audience about that agreement? Says.
Well, just in general, it's mostly been road officials, but in the bigger counties, it's engineers and surveyors. And this is just formalizing that group as an entity that is an affiliate organization, AOC, on behalf of any efforts they put forward, whether it's working with the state legislature, with AOC itself, the Association of Oregon Counties. And it does take, we didn't really talk about it this time, I think it takes 10 counties in order to make this organization a binding organization. Is that correct, Mr. Bailey?
I don't remember the exact count, but that was the point, was to have a sufficient number to make it.
If there's 10 counties, if there's less than 10 counties, then it'll automatically be terminated. It's the last on page 2,
Yeah.
And it needs 10 to start, and then if it drops below 10 at any point, then.
Right, and it does say in here, upon execution of this agreement by at least 10 counties, so it won't be created unless 10 counties haven't signed on.
That is the ordinance that we voted on,
Okay.
and this is the agreement. And the motion is on the table to accept the intergovernmental agreement. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. On this one, gentlemen, there's only one
One.
signature space.
Yours.
ESD update budget request. Bob and Bill.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Beautiful drive from Paisley.
Well, it's wonderful, yes.
Yeah, we have Bill Wirtz joining us this morning from Paisley.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I thought I'd give a brief ESD update, and I do have a budget request. And at first, maybe Bill, do you have anything you want to say before I start rambling?
Just everything seems to be going okay in Paisley, and we've had a really good school year. Got to drive down here in our new pickup truck we bought, because we had a pickup truck that was close to 300,000 miles on it. So we decided it was time to do something with that. It's been a really good year. Kids are doing really well. We're starting track now, and we have quite a few kids in our dorm this year that are actually going out for track, which is unusual. So we're looking forward to having not only a good girls team, but also a boys team. So looking forward to that as well.
So, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna ask, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yeah.
Much better.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, the surgery went well, and I'm kind of at 10 weeks now, and yeah, I'm not gonna go run a marathon, but get better.
It's good to
So,
see
yeah,
you out
thank you, Dan.
and about. You bet.
So, Bob, what is this update?
Well, compared to the previous 2 years, I'm coming here a lot happier. As you probably know, right at the end of the legislative session, the legislature boosted the revenue for the 5 smallest ESDs in the state of Oregon by $165,000. And I'm sure you all remember, because of all my whining, that the 5 smallest ESDs had had the revenue frozen at $1 million since 2003. And so it's been a very long time, and we were really on the verge of having to make some major cuts in services, and that $165,000 really helped us avoid those, and actually allowed us to add some services in some very important areas. As I've always said, we're a very traditional ESD. The focus of our ESD has been to help the districts with special education, and so that 165 allowed us to expand our FTE in both special ed and speech services. And it's really been a very timely thing, because in the last 4 years, we've seen our special ed caseloads increase by 30%. We've seen in the last 2 years, we've seen our autism caseloads around the county increase by 160%. Now that sounds like a lot, but it's a relatively small number of students, but it's also a population that requires a lot of support. And so
I got a quick question on those two increases, on special ed and on autism. Is that actual increase in kids or increase in identifying?
It's both. It's actually, if you look at it though, particularly for both North Lake and Paisley, most of the increase has come from families who are moving into the community. It's not been because of increases in identification. In Lakeview, I'd say it's probably 50-50. I don't believe there's a lot more identification going on. There hasn't been any major changes in identification for autism or specific learning disabilities in the last few years. No real changes in that. But that's a very hard thing to really, identify, so.
We have had, before Sean Gallagher left, he was saying that we've been having families move in from California, and they've been adding, locally.
The other area where we're really seeing it this year is in our early childhood, early intervention, early childhood special education program, which at the ESD we basically have one full-time certified person and one part-time assistant who service all of our birth through 5 special ed kids in the county. Typically, their caseload runs about 14 to 16 kids a year. Right now, it's like a 20 or 21. It's really, we're starting to really see it in the younger kids. And I know one of the things the schools have noticed is that where they're seeing a lot of the increase is in their kindergarten and first grade levels. So we're seeing it's becoming more of an issue with our younger students. There's no doubt. So at the start of this year, we did something that hasn't been done in Lake County in a very long time. We got all of the teaching staff together in Paisley in August for a presentation by Marcia Moyer, who also came back in October, and we did the same thing. We have a meeting tomorrow to start talking about whether or not we want to try to continue that, trying to get everybody together. It was very interesting to get all of the educators in the county together in Paisley for a couple of days this year. Marcia's also supposed to be coming back to do some work directly with our teachers in the buildings here, but we're having a little bit of difficulty. We've had some weather cancellations, and we're still trying to get that scheduled. About a month ago, we had our annual Youth Mentor Program fundraiser. It was the most successful that they've ever had. They raised a little over $5,000. As you know, they're working with kids throughout the county, and so that program is going very well. And my hat is off to those people because there's no public funding on that program at all. It's all grant supported and fundraised, and so those people, before they can work with the kids, have to raise the money in order to continue the program. So they're doing a fabulous job.
And they do a deficit of men volunteers.
Yes, there's a habitual lack of mentors, particularly mentors. That's another battle they are fighting.
I promised Kathy Miles that I would be a mentor after I step down from this position.
I believe the same. Another program that we're seeing some real progress in is our library consultant. 2 years ago, the ESD decided to hire a certified library consultant to work with all of the schools in the county, mainly because ODE still requires that all of your libraries be the oversight be provided by somebody with a library license. Most school districts in the state of Oregon have really let that one go. Very few of our libraries anymore have licensed librarians. Most of the libraries are run by educational assistants who do a great job, but having that licensed oversight is important. So the last couple of years, we've had a lady who we contract with out of Bend who comes down. If you haven't had the opportunity to be in Mr. Wirtz's library in Paisley, I would encourage you to do so. Just the physical nature of the library is much more conducive for the kids. She's also very good at helping the library staff make technological adjustments as well as recommendations on what books to buy and programs. And I don't know if you have any comments on that.
Well, she's been great. One of the programs, one of the requirements for graduation from Paisley is all of our juniors have to do a junior project. And so, one of our juniors last year, who's a senior this year, came to me and said, I would like my junior project to completely remodel and change our library. And my first reaction was, that's a crazy idea. How are you gonna do that by yourself? Well, she did it. And the library's completely revamped. It's totally automated, where kids can now go online from home and order books. Linda Villieu, who Bob's talking about as a consultant, worked very closely with Lizzie and a couple of other kids to really get it going. They totally repainted it. And it's now, and then we get a large book order through her. And it's now a hub for the kids, and which is my goal. I want to have a place in the school where the kids felt comfortable to go to that wasn't just a library, but also a meeting place and a place where they could go. And so every day at lunch, you'll go in, there's 20, 25 kids in there doing different things. A lot more research is going on. So it's really become a really neat place for the kids. And by hiring Linda and having her come down on a regular basis to meet with us, it's been a really good, positive experience for us at Paisley.
It's been a good program. Very, very pleased with it. The final thing I'll just mention today is our early learning work. Commissioner Kessner sits on the Lake County Community Governance Council of the South Central Oregon Early Learning Hub. What a mouthful. We basically are participating in a couple of grant programs. The last couple of years, we've been involved in a kindergarten partnership and innovation grant. Primarily, those dollars have been used to fund kindergarten engagement and readiness activities for families around the county. Last year, we were focused mainly on North Lake and Lakeview. This year, we've added Paisley to the mix. Here in Lakeview, twice a month, Judy Springer and the kindergarten teachers have nights where they have the families in, they provide food, they provide daycare, and they basically share with the families reading and other types of engagement activities. They've had a pretty good turnout. Their last activity 2 weeks ago, they had 16 families there. So that's starting to really move forward. This year, North Lake is not participating in that grant because they have a rather large Oregon Community Foundation grant that they're using to fund all of their activities. They're actually doing very similar things this year up there, but that's allowed us to have more resources for Lakeview and Paisley by North Lake utilizing the Oregon Community Foundation grant. The other grant that, this one is really thanks to Commissioner Kessner that we're involved in, is called the Regional Achievement Collaborative Grant. This is a program that the state actually started a couple of years ago. Regional Achievement Collaboratives are working now in most of the counties in Oregon. The funding the idea is to really focus on either the transition from early learning to kindergarten or from high school to college. And the vast majority of these RACs, or Regional Achievement Collaboratives, are choosing to focus on the transition from high school to college. We decided that what we really needed to focus on here was the transition from early learning to kindergarten. And so our RAC is just getting started. We have 2 years of funding for it, and we've held community meetings both here and in Paisley. And the bottom line from those meetings has been that what we want to do is pursue some kindergarten camps to allow some of our kindergartners to have about a 2-week head start at the end of the summer before kindergarten starts, to get them up to speed in terms of socialization, classroom expectations, some basic reading and mathematical skills. And so what we're looking at doing with this RAC money is funding kindergarten camps in both Lakeview and in Paisley, basically giving these kids about a 2-week head start. And so what I'm coming forward to the commissioners today is, what we'd like to ask the commissioners to do is to partner with the school districts and the ESD on support for these kindergarten camps. The ESD, through the RAC grant, is going to pay for the teachers, the educational assistants, and the cafeteria staff, and any curriculum needs that there are. The districts are gonna provide the bus drivers and the buses and the transportation costs. What I'm asking from the commissioners is to find the food costs for these kindergarten camps, just actual invoiced expenses, not just a blank check, but actual invoiced expenses that you would reimburse up to a maximum of $400. And talking to both Bill and Will Cahill at District 7, they estimate that the food costs will actually probably run around $350, but I put a little cushion in there just in case, because we're still, we have not yet actually set the dates and times for these. Not really sure if we're gonna be providing a breakfast or a lunch. There'll probably be a snack thrown in there as well, with either breakfast or lunch, but we're, at this point, it's gonna be pretty much up to the school districts to decide how they want to structure and schedule the camps. But we're pretty excited because we think it's gonna get some of our more at-risk kids in the kindergarten rooms a little bit ahead of some of the other kids, get them caught up. And there's several other counties around the state that are doing it, primarily in Lane County and up in the northwest corner of the state, and they've seen pretty good success with it the last couple of years, and so we're excited. Questions on that?
Well, first, just a statement. You know, I'm very keen on early childhood because that's where kids get their compass bearing. Can you describe your current funding for ESD, which is typically school and kindergarten and elementary? Do you receive any money other than the grant?
We have not. Our kindergarten partnership and innovation grant is a little over $13,000. Like I say, we're using that to fund some kindergarten engagement and readiness activities around the county. We're going to certainly go. We project we're probably going to overspend that grant by about $5,000 this year. The RAC grant is about $22,000. We expect that the vast bulk of that will be spent on these kindergarten camps. You know, the school districts and the ESD are contributing some funds to help, you know, cover the shortfall, but we're paying for virtually the cost of the programs out of those two grants. That's really all there is. There isn't, right now, there's not a lot of funding for early learning. You may have heard the last legislature had House Bill 3380, which was allegedly, I know I talked to Commissioner Shannon, I know Kessler knows about this as well, allegedly going to provide support for preschools around the state of Oregon. In fact, just today, they're going to announce who got those grants. I won't bore you with a lot of the details, but the problem was that under 3380, preschool funding had to be, there was a lot of hurdles that had to be met. You know, you had to pay your teachers K through 12 the same wages that you pay K through 12 teachers in your communities, which preschools typically don't do that. They had to have teachers had to have bachelors in either early learning or elementary education, which is another big hurdle. The preschools had to have been in existence for a minimum of 2 years. Anyway, I can go on and on. Actually, at noon today, Mr. Wirtz and I are speaking with Senator Whitsitt to express some of our concerns about 3380 and the fact that it was billed as this support for early learning, but really, in our opinion, what it supported was the areas that had well-established functioning preschools, and it, by virtue of all these conditions, it didn't really allow any sort of support or help for the places that I think needed it the worst, where we're starting from scratch, or where we have some preschools that are just really fighting to hang on, and economically just can't afford to meet those expectations that 3380 put on it. So anyway, that's
well. I'm glad you brought that up, though, Superintendent Nash, because we did have a conversation, and I did follow up with Representative Bentz's office. I had not heard anything back, so I'm glad to hear you talk about that, and hopefully Senator Whitsitt, before he's gone, will be able to get some traction on changing that, because it's just absurd.
It seems like the funding went to the places that didn't need it the worst.
Right.
Yeah, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but that's my opinion anyway.
That's That's a common.
That's fine.
So I just have one question before we get to your request. I know that you're involved in the CDBG grant process for early learning and everything. Any update on where the process is and where they're at on building the new building south of town and that?
In talking with Vicki Taylor, I know it's still moving forward, but Brett, I'm not cognizant of any of the details on that whatsoever. I understand it's still 2 or 3 years out.
Is it really that far? So-
Yeah. But I may be in error there. I mean, it's not something I'm directly involved in.
We'll have to contact Vicki.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her, just, I know CDBG grants are very heavy to get
Yeah.
through, so I know they're working with the town on that. Commissioners on their request, would you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, very reasonable request and very worthwhile, so.
Yeah, and, looking at it and everything, I done a little bit of visiting with Denise beforehand, and, I believe in our video lottery dollars, we could absorb the $400. So, just mention that up front, I'd make a motion to, support, this program for $400 and the funds to come out of our video lottery, fund.
Second?
Motion been made and seconded, as said. Any other discussion? Was there, just curiosity, I haven't had time to look at it. The video lottery funds gets active.
Yeah,
Okay.
lottery funds are very much educated.
Good. Then I'll entertain a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mark, carried.
Thank
I
you
have
very
a
much.
question for
Thank you
the
very much.
gentleman when you're done.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
I argued 3 years with North Lake School District to put Christ back in that school and get rid of the winter break. The last time I saw him, I talked to a lawyer about a lawsuit, and he talked me out of it. But he gave me 8 typewritten pages of court decisions where Christ can be put back in a school as long as it's not educational. Now, if you are interested, I'll get you copies of those 8 pages and you can make your own decision. But I think it's about time the Christian started fighting the atheist.
Just one comment, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but in my office, on my board, I have a copy of North Lake's schedule, and I'm 99.9% certain that it says Christmas break. It does not say winter break, but that's just,
Yeah. If you're not interested, I'll forget it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
And enjoy this beautiful weather.
I'll double check on that, though.
While we're on the subject of children, we should go to the proclamation of Child Abuse Prevention Month. I don't have mine with me, this is this page here. What are you doing?
This was brought forward by Shirley Tracy. She's unable to be with us today, but we did the same proclamation, same type of proclamation last year.
I would entertain a suggestion.
I support, I don't think we're going to do it by motion, but I would support enacting this proclamation by consensus of the board.
I concur.
Good, Court. It's customary for someone to read it. My neck is tight. Will you, gentlemen?
Your neck was tight last time. I've got one here.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas our first priority is the health and safety of our children who deserve a stable environment of love and support, and whereas finding solutions depends on involvement from all parents, citizens, and organizations, thus planting seeds for future generations to prosper. And whereas child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure each family has the support they need to raise their children in a healthy and nurturing surroundings. And whereas providing for children's physical, emotional, and developmental needs creates the best foundation for a promising childhood. And whereas we are dedicated to strengthening families in our society, we join together to convey our message of care and hope. Now, therefore, we, Lake County Board of Commissioners in the County of Lake, State of Oregon, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2016 Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Well said, thank you. I'll sign it as Board of Lake County Commissioners.
Okay.
Do either of you have a preference of the next topic?
I would like just to, I don't, maybe just go right on down, maybe leave the solar pilot agreement to near the end.
Okay. Then we go to the Oregon Health Authority Intergovernmental Agreement number 147793, Amendment number 4. This would be with the mental health department.
Yeah, this is an addition of funds, it's an amendment, the fourth amendment, and the amount of additional funds is $3,342. And no extra duties that I'm aware of, it's just more funding. So with that, I will make a motion to accept the fourth amendment to the Oregon Health Authority 2015-17 Intergovernmental Agreement, Financing of Community Addictions and Mental Health Service Agreement 147793.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the intergovernmental agreement, amendment number 4. Any other discussion? Is the State Oregon Health Authority, we have a 2-year agreement biennium, and they constantly making little amendments, usually beneficially, just adding a little more money to our ability to perform the mental health and abuse program. All in favor?
Aye.
Budget Resolution 2015-10.
This was brought forward to us yesterday by our budget officer. This is additional unanticipated revenue coming into our 290 fund, which is one of the sheriff's funds. This will leverage dollars along with a few other dollars for body cams for our law enforcement. A very positive thing with that. I'll make a motion in the matter of unanticipated revenue to accept resolution number 2015-10.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the said resolution. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on down to STF annual certification and assurance. Denise, can you?
This is just our annual notification to the state that we agree with the rules and regulations set forth for our federal and state transportation funds that we receive.
I'll make a motion that we approve the FDA fiscal year 2016 certification and assurances as presented.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded to accept the said. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye, excuse me.
Motion carries. Legal counsel contract review. Have this been reviewed by legal counsel?
The point of this is, I sent you a proposal that explained it as well. The normal contract that we have that my office has for the county is for legal representation of a general nature, and the union negotiations are separate from that, so you actually get charged separately for the union negotiation. What happens from time to time in the normal representation is, although the goal is for me to attend the roughly 20 meetings that are held during the year, it varies based on holidays and whether or not the meeting is canceled. But what happens from time to time is I'll have a legal a conflict in scheduling with other litigation, which doesn't permit me to attend, or requires that I can only attend by telephone. And I probably still manage to attend 19 to 21 meetings during the year anyway. And we adjusted the contract about 5 years ago, because what happens is from time to time, some of those scheduling conflicts pile up in the year for a variety of reasons. And what I thought would be simpler than counting every single time that I was here or I wasn't here, that it might just be simpler to keep that formula in the contract, but to simply not charge the county for legal representation during union negotiations. It's sort of my way of saying that I don't want to feel bad about the fact that I can't attend a meeting, and I feel bad if you guys feel like you've got to count everything that maybe missed or made. This is a way of moving union negotiations into the normal contract and dispensing with having to do a lot of bookkeeping. The fiscal impact of the county is we do legal negotiations or union negotiations every 3 years. Depending on the complexity, it averages somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 to the county. So that would be a non-charge to the county during union negotiations. So it's entirely a benefit to the county, and you come out way ahead. So it's my recommendation that you accept my suggested amendment to the memo understanding.
And just clarification, we're in union negotiations now, that this would be inclusive of these union negotiations we're currently in.
Yes, it does.
I'll make a motion that we accept the recommended contract modification as presented.
Second motion.
Motion made second to accept the contract amendment. Any other discussion, gentlemen? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
One quick question, Commissioner, I would just pull down my pile and I don't see it on here. Did we handle the AOC? I know we had the discussion, but did we formally make a decision?
The direction was for me to, actually, weren't we having more discussions?
Well, I thought we were.
Yeah, I thought we were
Well,
having more discussions.
while the audience is in the camera, let's just have that discussion.
Yeah. Well, what we talked about yesterday, every year we receive a invoice from our association, Oregon Counties, for the different entities that provide service to Lake County, and we're a member county of the Association of Oregon Counties. With that said, there's 2 areas that they break it out by functional areas. AOC general fund dues, which is a mandatory area if you want to be noted as a full member, as well as public lands fund dues. My recommendation to you, fellow commissioners, was that we take a serious look at the forest management subcommittee dues. They're noted as voluntary dues. They are required for a voting privilege, but as we had in our discussion yesterday, we have many forest management type committees that we're part of, that represent us, starting at our local level with collaboratives, all the way up through and including the National Association of Counties Public Lands, as well as the Western Interstate region of the National Association of Counties. And my recommendation to the 2 of you, that's a significant cost for what I perceive to not be a benefit that's not derived already from other sources, and that cost is $4,195.09, and that we submit our check back with this invoice highlighting that we are not participating in that cost.
I'm with you 100% on that, Commissioner. I support that recommendation to go forward. we do have the dollars budgeted. If for some reason AOC came to us and put a compelling argument of why we need to continue to be members and everything, it doesn't completely close the door. We could still revisit it, but I think at this time, the correct thing to do is to follow your recommendation.
Well,
I absolutely agree that there's so many different avenues that discuss the same thing. So it's kind of redundant.
well, and it's redundant with a fairly substantial cost to the redundancy that we could use because we're all actively involved in those issues. We could use those dollars perhaps in ways that we think will get us the proverbial bigger bang for the buck. Mr. Johnson has a question.
I have some comments I'd like to make about that public land stuff. And I have 3 other things. If I may interject my big mouth in this, I'll get done and go home.
Sure.
I, to Mr. Winters Limited, got talked out of any resolutions to do away with public land. The comment that talked me out of it is not Mr. Winters' reasoning. I was told that it'll never fly because big money on the East Coast will buy the legislators out and stop it. I was suggested to, and I was told the name of a committee to write my resolutions to have the legislative body, Senate, Congress, pass a law giving this committee the power to appoint people that can push Forest Service, bad land management, federal fish and wildlife into listening to what we have to say instead of what the environmentalists say. One of the big problems, and it's not being noted in our economy problem, look what the environmentalists are trying to do to the cow industry in this country. Look what they have succeeded since the spotted owl in the forest industry. And a big argument I've got against that decision is climate change is being based on, I can't think of the term now, excuse me, for bad odor,
Methane.
or, yeah, or
Cow farts and belch.
carbon dioxide. The best solution to carbon dioxide is right here in this state and about 2/3 of the 11 western. It's a proven fact. Christmas tree farms, second growth timber, living and growing, take more carbon dioxide out of the air and put fresh oxygen back than an old growth forest because they're dead, they're dying, and they don't use it. So for our economy's sake, why can't we mill old growth timber, log old growth timber, and save the timbers to grow? That's saving, getting the carbon dioxide out of the air. But you have trouble getting around it. I'll shut up on that now. Mr. Shown, I have been told,
Whoa,
bang, that's all
buckle
right.
up.
I'll sit up.
Do you want to sit in
Buckle
the
up.
other chair, maybe?
Yeah. I have been told that you are going to contact the FAA pursuant to possibly having an airplane in the 4th of July parade.
I'm working with our roadmaster on that as of yesterday, yes.
Well,
And he's
when
in
you find
contact
out,
with your
yes or
daughter.
no, please let me know.
Okay.
And then
Can we let you know through your daughter?
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
I reading here a while back just a month ago, where Idaho, 2-3 years ago, started an eminent domain lawsuit against the government for their private land, for their public land. Colorado was doing something like this 3-4 years ago. My comment and suggestion would be, if you people don't think it's a bad idea, contact some of the rest of the county commissioners on the eastern side of the mountain and see if, how many think we ought to go to the legislature and see if they wanna get involved or contact these people to see if we can help. We gotta break the government down. My other comment about this is it was the five men that started the environmental movement in New York did it with one intention. They were anti-constitution, pro-UN. They started this to do away with all commercial use of public land in the 11 Western. If they can bankrupt us, they can bankrupt the country and they get their way. And I'm just bullheaded enough to think we've got to start trying to stop it. I kinda like this old country like it is. I don't need many changes. Another comment, and then I'm done. This movement that started in the 41 in Northern California to start the state of Jefferson, it's started up again. I understand that Coos and Curry counties in Oregon have said they would join it. And it's, I forget, 11 or so counties in Northern California have signed up for it. And the object of it is to get the liberal South out of the conservative North's hair. If this starts to fly, why don't we consider joining it and get rid of the liberal I-5 corridor and join with the conservatives? Just an idea. Thank you for your time and listening to me, fellas.
Thank you,
Dan,
Ron.
you had your first two statements about work, getting Congress to something to work. There is a group of counties that are trying to get together to get a dialogue with the main regional forest and land management. And our congressional delegation is aware of that, so they'll be working on it. And you brought up, well, it was in Christmas Valley about the FAA and stuff. I've been checking. My schedule has been that I was going to be out of commission in a court case for 5 days, so I just handed it to Commissioner
Well,
Sal.
what prompted this? In the early 80s, Ole Turnbull put his airplane in the parade twice. The first time Betty Morehouse went to the FAA and lied. Oh, he landed on the county road and took off of it. They told us that that airplane could be there as long as you people okayed it and any safety precautions you wanted, we had to adhere to. The next year, the wife and I were horseback right in front of Ole's airplane, and he played with us, cracked the throttle and a few things. But the commissioners told us that there had to be a man on both sides of the nose of that airplane, far enough away to protect anybody from getting into that prop. And that was the restrictions that you people put on it, or the commissioners at that time. Betty Morehouse run off at the mouth about endangering horses, and it was spooking the horses, and so Woolley never went back. But for 3-4 years, I had strangers coming into the community. Where's the airplane? That was the nicest thing and hey, I can't do it. One of the locals up home has a nice airplane. And if the FFA and you people can see fit, he'll put it in. And we'll have all the help we need to take care of the problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You have a good day, my dear.
You too.
So, Mr. Chairman, back to we were talking about the dollar amount. I believe, I don't know if you ever got consensus.
You have a nice day,
on
please.
this,
Thank you.
But I think we better make sure that's in the record, the
Take care.
consensus to pay the reduced amount.
Concur.
Concur.
Thank you. Remodel electrical quote. Do we need Dave Berman?
Yeah.
And also for the mental health, we need, Jay. And then the other thing is the solar pilot, just was receiving a message from RHS. So while we go, it might take 5 minutes to get Dave Berman and Jay, and I'll find out what that gentleman.
Yeah, are they coming? I didn't
Well,
think they were.
RHS not coming,
Oh, okay.
because the person that was coming had a conflict.
I don't think there's a need for them to be.
Yeah, what I'm saying, there isn't. I just need to find out why he was calling.
Oh, okay.
So find out right now.
5 minutes break.
convene. On the mental health compensation consideration, I was talking to Jay, and we don't really have anything at this time.
Okay.
So, we cross that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
He's working on it, may have something by the end of the week. Remodel electrical cord, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Oh, you want to address me? Huh? You address me, you don't address me.
Yes, a gentleman.
That's what it means. That's what it's
What I
like.
said it is. Ma'am. I went out, got a couple quotes on electrical for our remodel down there.
Down in the old assessor's office.
So that's how we're doing the remodel for the sheriff's and the community correction. Starts come in at 11,980 and Tracy Electric come in at 11,500. So I want to, on your recommendation of awarding Tracy Electric for the quotes.
Legal counsels.
I did not have him look at the quotes.
Not the quotes, but the RFP.
We didn't go up for an RFP. You don't have to, let's sort of pick it.
So we're good, Mr. Dave?
Yeah.
And your recommendation, Dave, was, your recommendation was?
Carl Tracy Electric,
You're to a little bit.
low bid, yes.
We're allowed through our compensation review rules to allow to get quotes if it's under a certain amount of dollars, and this is under that amount of dollars, and so he's able to at least receive 2 quotes. You asked for even more than that. I
Yes,
believe
it is,
that two respond, and you're recommending the low quote of the 2 that we received.
Or, yes.
I'll move to accept the recommendation from Mr. Berman of Tracy Electric to do the electrical work for the remodel down in the adult correction / sheriff's new area.
I'll second your motion to accept Mr. Berman's recommendation.
Motion been made and seconded to accept Mr. Berman's recommendation pertaining to Caller Tracy as a little bit. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you, guys.
Berman.
And appreciate the work. Solar pilot agreement for just energy. As we wrote, I had a phone call message from Steve Smith. He's the consultant that brought it in front of us. It turned out he was on the last one. What was the status? And I'll get back to him after. This is a company, well, first off, last year the state legislature, they passed a bill 3492 or something like that, that for solar, the company can come in and request an agreement with the county to pay $7,000 a megawatt in lieu of taxes. It gives us certainty to the investors, because they usually have top up millions of dollars. Otherwise, our tax assessment, if we went with enterprise zone or whatever, varies over the years, which gives an uncertainty to investors. So that's why that bill was passed, so that the company can pay just a fixed amount on an even keel throughout 20 years. So this company brought that proposal of an agreement payment in lieu of taxes to us a while back, and a couple of minor changes been made on it, but I think everybody's in agreement with the changes made.
And if you don't mind, Commissioner, I'll just add, when you say certainty to the investors, it also brings certainty to the taxing districts, which gives a certain amount of certainty to the services we provide, which has its benefits too.
Yes. And just for information, the project is 10 to 12 megawatts, so that's be $7,000 a year per megawatt that will come in and be distributed to the affected taxing districts. We need to act on the agreement that was brought to us.
So I'll make a motion to agree to the payment in lieu
seconded to accept the agreement between Orchard's Jenny of Energy and the county for payment in lieu of taxes. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I'm fishing for my clean copy. The word river was removed, if I remember right, wasn't it?
You know, I was focused on termination.
On those part. So anyways, I'm good. I believe it was been cleaned up.
No, river was not removed.
Is
It
still
was it
there?
not removed?
What we can do, we can just initial.
Yeah, you can line it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like our legal counsel would have caught that.
Well, you know, he's,
It wasn't as important to me as it was to you.
he just proposed and we accepted review services, so that's probably an example.
It's all cost. It all comes out in the wash.
Yeah.
We'll get even in union negotiations. Okay.
No department updates, we had that yesterday.
We have meeting minutes,
Meetings, yeah.
meeting minutes of February 17, 2016 is the only one that I have in front of me.
That's it.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion been made to approve the meeting minutes of February 17th, 2016. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Any legal updates for open session, Chief?
No, two brief ones for executive session.
Under two what?
H.
H. And we go into executive session at, well, Ginger, you
I'm
have.
sorry,
I didn't hear the executive session part.
I'm sorry, can I come up for just a second? So I would like to revisit our conversation yesterday
Before we
about,
go into executive
Yeah.
session, we'll keep it open.
yes, thank you, I'm sorry. Almost.
Better luck next time.
So first of all, I want to apologize that I was a little caught off guard because I wasn't exactly sure where, about your questions. So I did some research yesterday and this morning. And this is about the industrial lands, access to information about what are industrial zoning or lands and access to the information, readily access to the information, the question that you asked.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Encompassing all opportunities. not just
Encompassing all opportunities, right.
Commercial, otherwise.
Right. So, in talking with Betty Riley, one of the things that we have discussed this many times. It is an expensive process to organize this in a way that is probably the most user-friendly. So one.
And probably consistent from county to county.
Yes, and consistent from county to county. So what has been in the works for over a year, I guess, is Business Oregon has been systematically putting together a list of and incorporating into Oregon Prospector the information that we're talking about. And I don't know where they are with our county yet. I have a conference call on Friday with Larry Holzgang, Annette Levy, Betty, and others, and you folks are welcome. It's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was going to be at 10 on Friday, but now they've changed it to 3 on Friday. So the purpose of the call is to talk about where it's at. There's another person, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, who has actually been in charge of this project with Business Oregon to find out where they are. Some of the counties have opted out of it, some of the smaller population counties, not smaller maybe in geographical area, but they have opted out of participating in the program because they have either not felt like they had enough that they needed to do that for, or they felt like there is a component of the system that they're putting together that the counties can pay for. And it's called Zoom, something Zoom. And it would be very expensive for our county to participate in it. Klamath County evidently has developed their own system, and I'm not sure exactly what that is, but I wanna kind of look at it. So anyway, that's the update, that's what's going on with it. What I'm hoping is that we are somehow, they have not contacted Darwin, I spoke with him about it. I am assuming that they're not very far down the road with Lake County because they would have been in contact with Darwin to ask about, you know, to review it and make sure that everything is proper. They do have a list of properties and a list of what they would like to see on it, but they haven't proceeded, is what I understand at this point. But I'll know more on Friday.
Okay.
And
I will be available for that phone call.
Great.
Now.
perfect, and you folks are invited too, if you would like to be on a conference call at 3 o'clock on Friday before spring break.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
there you have it, and I will get with you, I'll send you an email or have some way of letting you know what happens on Friday.
I just realized, I mean, I haven't had vacation in several years, not seven, that with this court case being dismissed, I can sneak out of town for 5 days.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Good for you. Anyway, thanks.
Except for Friday. Showing up today.
Thanks.
Thank you. Now we're going to executive session at 20 minutes after 11, under 192.6602H, litigation.
Litigation.
And the media